So, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, here we are. Man's family seeks justice after state troopers share footage of his death. Not only were they state troopers, they were newly graduated from the academy just a handful of months ago. Providence, Rhode Island State Police is mulling how to discipline the troopers who shared disturbing footage of a deadly pedestrian crash on social media. I don't know how to discipline them. Take any certification that they got and burn it right in front of them and dare them to get a job anywhere else in law enforcement. The footage obtained by 12 News shows the moment 21-year-old Alex Montesino was hit and killed by a car while crossing I-95 back in October. An 8-second clip of the footage was then recorded on a cell phone and shared by a state trooper via Snapchat. Laughter and explicit language can be heard in the background of the clip, which later went viral. Frank Vidal, Montesino's uncle, told 12 News his nephew's twin sister came across the footage online the day before the funeral. Now imagine that. Now typically during a funeral, law enforcement will shut down roads and lead the procession through town and whatnot. Can you imagine? I'm just saying, who would want law enforcement anywhere around them at this point anymore? You can clearly hear them laughing and mocking his last minutes left on this earth, Vidal said. We were just horrified. I mean, there's no words. Vidal described his sister seeing that footage as being the worst case scenario. I can't even begin to describe the bond those two share, Vidal said. She told me she's lost a piece of her. In a statement to 12 News, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Kramer said the Rhode Island State Police Professional Standards Unit began investigating the clip's origin as soon as it was brought to their attention. Wow, nobody knew anything about it until the sister, whoever, found it. Kramer said that the investigation has since concluded and the Rhode Island State Police is in the process of determining the appropriate discipline for the troopers who recorded and disseminated the footage. The behavior exhibited by the troopers involved does not reflect the values of the Rhode Island State Police, Kramer wrote. Our thoughts are with the grieving family. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Law enforcement does not care about anybody that's not part of their thin blue line gang. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Where'd I go? Where was I just at? Haber exhibited. Green family. Vidal believes that the troopers involved should be fired and undergo psychological evaluations. Wow. Most places require you to go through a medical evaluation and a psychological evaluation before you go to the academy. That way they know they're not putting a bunch of fucking mental issues into, it doesn't matter. They all wound up being like that. That's a minimum that should happen, Vidal said. Why does my thing keep jumping? There has to be accountability. How are you so disconnected from human life? How can you dehumanize somebody? It makes no sense, he continued. It's scary knowing that these troopers are out there patrolling our roads and highways. It's not just those troopers. It's law enforcement everywhere. They don't care about you. And until people wake up and realize that, the bootlickers with the thin blue line, they have such a hard job. They don't have... Cops only have a harder job as they make it. Sorry. Vidal said it's been extremely difficult for his family to grieve their loss, especially now that the footage is out there. It's online. There's no escaping it, Vidal said. It's a never-ending nightmare because the internet is forever. Vidal doesn't want his nephew to be remembered by how he died, but instead how he lived. That's him right there. The one that was killed. He was just a vibrant and outgoing person, he continued. There's just a void now that can never be replaced or filled. Montesino loved spending time with his family and listening to music. He also had a passion for cooking, according to Vidal. No one could make a better baked mac and cheese than he could, Vidal said. Vidal confirmed that his family received a letter from the Rhode Island State Police earlier this month regarding the investigation. But the letter left them with more questions than answers, since Vidal said the Rhode Island State Police couldn't tell them when and how the troopers would be disciplined. Well, of course not. Anytime you talk law enforcement, you have more questions than answers because they have the double talk runaround and you're never quite sure where you stand. We're not happy with that, Vidal said. We want justice. We want Montesino to be remembered as more than just a viral video. We want him to be known for who he was. Rhode Island State Police has not released the names of the troopers who recorded the footage. Of course they have not. Who was surprised by that? Well, I found the footage. We're going to start here.
A family is looking for justice after a state trooper shared the final moments of their loved one's life on social media. Alex Montesino was hit while crossing 95 in Providence back in October, and a day before the young man's funeral, his sister made the shocking discovery. Joe Cortez is live in studio this morning with what actions the family is calling for next. Joe.
Okay, 12 News caught up with Montesino's uncle, Frank Vidal. He says the state troopers recorded ride-out footage from the incident and said that you can clearly see them and hear them laughing at Alex's final moments. Now, Vidal wants his nephew to be remembered for who he truly was, a vibrant, outgoing person. His family was notified of the steps state police are taking, but it's unclear how the officers will be disciplined. Rhode Island State Police Lieutenant Robert Kramer tells 12 News this behavior does not reflect the values of the Rhode Island State Police, and went on to say, when we became aware of the existence of the video, we initiated an investigation through our Professional Standards Unit.
Professional Standards Unit? Professional Standards Unit? That's the, you can hear them say it's depending on where at, benevolent police officers associate. Anyway, their whole job is to keep uniform filled and money coming into their pockets. I'm just saying.
Vidal says he doesn't want Alex to be remembered this way.
Got a hold of the video and we just, we're just horrified. I mean, there's no words. Anyone can watch it, and not even watch it, just hear it. And it's something that, honestly, I can't even stomach. To see them get fired, ultimately, that's the minimum that should happen.
State police say the investigation has been concluded and they are in the process of determining appropriate discipline. They have not released the identities of the troopers or how many people were involved. When that will happen is still in question. Live in studio, Joe Cortez, 12 News.
Now,
2 Rhode Island State troopers have been fired after sharing
had it have been the other way around, would you stop? And a trooper had been killed and somebody had put down Snapchat, trust and believe their pictures would be all over social media. But here we go.
2 Rhode Island State troopers have been fired after sharing disturbing footage of a deadly pedestrian crash on social media. The footage obtained by 12 News shows the moment 21-year-old Alex Montesino was hit and killed by a car while walking on Interstate 95 back in October. Our Jake Holter joins us live now with the latest. Jake?
Kayla and Kim, the Rhode Island State Police announced their termination this morning, and both of the troopers were from the 2024 Academy class. A family's worst
2024 Academy class had just graduated. They don't care about you. These are newly graduated troopers from the Academy, and this is what they've learned.
Nightmare shared on social media.
We're never not going to be able to see that video. That video is accessible to everyone.
21-year-old Alex Montesino was hit and killed by a car on I-95 after getting out of his vehicle and walking onto the highway back in October. An 8-second clip of that footage was recorded.
Now, I'm not sure why he got out of his vehicle and was walking across. I don't know if it broke down. I've looked up several articles, and I just don't know what's up with that. Anyway.
Recorded on a cell phone and shared by a state trooper via Snapchat. Laughter and explicit language can be heard in the background of the clip, which later went viral.
It's so insensitive to take that and post it.
Now, 3 months later, those troopers have been fired. Rhode Island State Police Colonel Darnell Weaver said in a statement, quote, "We are deeply disappointed that these recently hired troopers displayed such poor judgment and lacked empathy for this family's tragedy."
But I'm betting Darnell Weaver isn't gonna put their pictures all over social media. Why not? We should see exactly who they are.
Montesino's uncle speaking with 12 News on Wednesday.
That's a scary feeling, knowing that that person or those people are out there patrolling our roads, our highways, and I pray that I never have to have an interaction with someone who's in that mental state and is a...
Nobody wants to have interaction with law enforcement. Anytime you have interaction with law enforcement, your chances of being alive the next day go down exponentially. I'm sorry, that's just been happening the last at least decade.
Officer of the law.
Former Rhode Island State Police Colonel and 12 News law enforcement analyst Stephen O'Donnell says troopers are trained not to behave like this.
State police and local police do sensitivity training, so they have conversation about this, and they do social media training where they teach them not to use that phone.
Do they say what were their grades in social media training? Pretty sure it was not good because they couldn't wait to get out there and get on social media.
And I think part of the problem, it's problematic in the generation they come from. Everybody uses that phone, and it's a message to other members of law enforcement: do not use your phones.
You know what they could do? They could have them not bring their phones to work, or make sure they're locked up in a locker before they leave. Back in the day, nobody had a cell phone, and I'm going back in the day. When my husband was in law enforcement, there was no damn cell phones. He had a big-ass bag phone at one point, but they need 0 cell phones. All the shit they have in their cars, they got plenty enough shit to do their job.
To move evidence.
And Rhode Island State Police has not released the names of the troopers who recorded that footage. Live in East Providence, Jake Holter, 12 News.
Of course they haven't, but here is the final.
Tonight, 2 Rhode Island State troopers fired after sharing video and laughing at a man's tragic final moments. The 2 can be heard on this Snapchat video that shows 21-year-old Alex Montesino being fatally struck by 2 cars while crossing I-95 in October. This version of the video obtained...
Let that sink in. They are watching this, and not one of them said, holy shit, we should go see what's going on. We should go see where we can best help out. Did they say any of that? No. They laughed and they put it on Snapchat. This tells you the mental capacity of the Blue Line gang.
Blurred by our NBC affiliate in Rhode Island.
I never wanted to see that video.
The troopers' termination was news to the Montesino family. We found out that they both have been fired at this point.
Oh, good.
What's your reaction?
Good. I'm happy. Such a relief.
Montesino's grandmother, Minerva Irizarry, says the family learned on the day of his funeral that troopers had been sharing the video.
I'm seeing my grandson in his last minutes of life.
Imagine if that was you or your family member, how you would feel. These people are supposed to be out there. I know it's plastered all over their cars to protect and serve, to protect and serve. However, the Supreme Court has said they have no duty to protect you. Only until you are physically in their custody do they have to protect you at any point. They should be made to take all that shit off, and they should just say, Blue Line Gang, we only serve ourselves.
Getting killed, which no one wants to see that, And then when I hear the state troopers laughing, that's when it really, I was very angry. Very, very angry.
Sit there and laugh and make fun of, to be diminished to a viral video, it's horrible.
After an investigation, the Rhode Island State Police announcing the termination of 2 troopers from the 2024 Academy class who violated division rules, regulations, and policies.
Like I said, 2024 just graduated, violated division rules, regulations, and policies. How about basic human dignity? It seems like none of them have that anymore. They're badge heavy, running around, just can't wait to put their hands on you. And then when that don't work out, they'll just shoot you. Should not say protect and serve, should say deflect and cover up.
Adding, we are deeply disappointed that these recently hired troopers displayed such poor judgment and lacked empathy for this family's tragedy. The troopers have not been publicly named. Montesino's grandparents calling the punishment a step in the right direction, but not enough. Do you feel like they owe you an apology?
Yes, of course, definitely.
Adding that an already painful experience was made that much worse by the troopers' decision. The family continues to grieve the loss of Montesino, his grandmother remembering the last time she saw him.
His birthday when he turned 21. We had such a good time. And I remember I was sitting in my car when I told him goodbye, and I hugged him, and I got out the car, and I said, wait a minute, I want to give you a real, a tight hug. And I got on, I hugged him so tight, and that was the last time I ever seen him.
Valerie Castro joins us now in studio. So Valerie, what more are we learning about this young man who lost his life?
So we've learned that Alex had a real love for his family, and a couple of years ago he used 23andMe, the online service, to track down his grandfather. He had fallen out of touch with the family more than 40 years ago, and now they say Alex is the reason that they were all reunited. They were forever grateful to him for that. As for what's next in this case, Alex's grandmother says she has no plans to sue the troopers. She says really no amount of money will ever bring Alex back.
She should sue all of them. Absolutely. They're not that it would matter because the taxpayers are paying it anyway. These law enforcement officers should be made to buy a bond and pay into that bond. And then when they fuck up like this, the family can go after that bond. And then whatever that bond don't cover, they can take the car, the house, anything that has secured that bond, the family can take. Maybe when they're sleeping outside in tents, they'll learn a lesson. Until then, not so much. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and back the blue till it happens to you.
Okay, Valerie Castro first. Valerie, thank you.